let's talk about creating ad copy and effective copywriting. It's important that you have the skills and ability to be able to write effectively in business. Now, you may choose that this isn't your favorite thing to do, but you want to make sure that you can at least get done what you have to. So let's look more closely. Let's start with some mistakes. I think it was last week, Fox News got in trouble because they announced Aretha Franklin's death but used Patti LaBelle's picture. Yeah, that is a problem. You have to really watch closely when you put these things together. It's also important that you can spell correctly. Not just for business, you don't want to be taken as a moron. When I was at the printing company, I made a huge mistake. I was putting together an auction flyer for American Auctioneering. It was on behalf of the state of Oregon. And it was thousands and thousands of booklets, multiple pages, multiple colors. It was for vehicles that the state was selling off. And I proofread it, the customer proofread it. It was proofread all the way down the line. But no one looked at the primary headline, the big, huge type that was on the front. And just like this, I forgot the L in public auction. But in my case, it got me to the Oprah show. So for workplace errors, I was able to have a free trip to Chicago and explore. I wish it had been for a better reason, but hey, claim to fame is my screw up. Ugh. Here's one from an elementary school. Kind of uncomfortable that they can't spell literacy. So, copywriting tips. Never assume your word processor will catch all of the problems. You really have to watch closely. It doesn't know if you mean ill or I'll. It doesn't know which form of a word necessarily you want to use. So take it slowly, work through each piece, and make sure things are correct. There's this wonderful thing that was invented. In fact, there's two related things, and I strongly encourage all students to get used to using them. The first is called a dictionary, and the second is a thesaurus. So I encourage you to use these things along with spell check and make sure that what you put out is a professional quality material item. And proofread your content. Put it away after you've read it a few times. Bring it back out later so that you're more fresh when you are reviewing it again. Have someone else take a look at it. Fresh eyes can be a wonderful tool. Reading your materials out loud is also a help because things sound differently sometimes when you read them out loud, and you might go, need to change that wording. Speaking of grammar and wording, grammar matters. Big difference between hunters please use caution when hunting pedestrians using walk trails versus hunters please use caution when hunting pedestrians using walk trails. Another one, we're going to learn to cut and paste, kids. Commas count. I really don't want to cut and paste children. This one is funny. One leaves you nourished, the other leaves you dead. Grammar matters. And then, of course, my favorite. Please make sure you use the correct form of your, their, to, etc. When you do copywriting, be concise. Eliminate unnecessary words and phrases. Consider, is there a better way, faster, shorter, stronger way to express the sentence that you want to get across to people? Make sure that you edit and edit more and edit more. If you use subheadings, keep them short. White space is your friend. Being able to have white space around text draws attention to it. When you have too much text on a page, it just creates this blur. And people see it, and it just turns them off immediately. Creating a website fast and easy. Well, it's not fast and easy if you have to do this much typing. Keep your headline short. State a benefit, not features. Keep it focused on benefits. Or ask a question that's intriguing. Use emotional, persuasive words. Think of emotional words. Happy, scared, quiet. What do you want to be able to make people feel? When you're speaking to your audience, speak to them in their own words. You want to be able to connect with them. Don't use diminutive words when a tiny word will work. So what I mean is write for the audience. In general, you write for 6th grade readers, and that's your middle point. When you use numbers, use numerical numbers, not text-based numbers. And make sure that you verify that your headlines make sense and that they're spelled correctly. Diana was still alive hours before she died. Wow. Okay. Duh. And Mississippi needs to work a little bit more on their literacy. Bugs flying around with wings are flying bugs. Duh again. Same thing with homicide victims rarely talk to police. Well, that's good to know. I just want to know the ones that do talk to police. That would be kind of creepy. Sometimes it's how things are worded. You don't mean anything negative by it, but it can be taken in a negative way. Instead of black kid's computer desk, how about kid's computer desk, black? That way you don't have to worry about any possible difficulties. Sometimes it isn't a matter of you're doing anything wrong. It's just stating duh things. And you can use information to showcase your goal in your headline just by saying something standard. What do I mean? When you point out something specific to your organization, it can make it seem unique. This is an example. A swarm of 153 earthquakes hit Yellowstone in July. Well, that's a huge headline. Wow, makes people nervous. They're going to read more. Unless you happen to already be aware that the average number of earthquakes to hit Yellowstone every month is about 155. This is not news. This is simply reporting everyday occurrences. So for reporting purposes, for headlines, this is an attention grabber and it's meant to scare you. But it's technically clickbait because it really doesn't say anything. I went shopping and saw this and it just blew me away. It's so funny. As effective at hour 24 as hour 1. Well, no other allergy medicine makes this claim on their, in this case, mouse pad. But on their medicine. So that creates a unique advantage for Xyzal. But when you think about it, Every pill has the same effectiveness when it's first entering your bloodstream as when it's almost out of your bloodstream, and that bell curve in between is when it becomes more effective. It's just as effective leaving as it is when it's first entering. So this is a duh statement. But the fact that they have brought it in as a custom item creates a unique advantage for this company. So there are 4 functions of a headline: to get attention, to select a specific audience, to deliver a message, and to draw the reader in so that they want to read more. When you're getting their attention, you want something wahoo, something really exciting and worth their time. You want to make sure that you're worth their time. Why swelter through another hot summer? You want to paint pictures. Swelter paints a picture. And it's more effective than why sweat through another hot summer. For deep, clean, oil-free skin, Noxzema has the solution that grabs your attention. Chances are you'll be writing for a specific target audience. Not everyone writes or wants to write children's books. The Institute of Children's Literature, a little online organization, doesn't want to reach everyone in the world. They want to reach people who want to do business with them. People who want to do business with them want to buy writing classes. If you live at home, chances are you don't pay electric bills. So an ad for a utility company isn't going to grab your attention. But if you do have a home, is your electric bill too high is something that you would notice. When you're delivering a complete message, it can get a bit wordy. So anything you can do to shorten it is very helpful. Sometimes, though, it isn't going to be able to be shortened. And just make sure that every word is a valuable word. Caught soon enough, early tooth decay can actually be repaired by Colgate. They could cut out the word actually, but it adds credence and value, and it also adds a little bit of justification. So it's a judgment call, but I do think it's valuable. You want to make sure that you draw your reader in. What 3 things do Idaho business owners get right? So you're connecting with people in Idaho. You're connecting with business owners. Those are things that people are jumping to when they read that title. What 3 things tells me that it's not going to take too long to read this article. So I'm ready to go. Even though this article might be focused on selling something, it's still going to grab my attention. There are 8 basic headline types: direct, indirect, news, how-to, question, command, reasons why, and testimonial. So you want to make sure that your headlines fit into one of these categories. Well, they will naturally. What I would like you to do is just pause this video and practice writing some headlines. Give yourself an example of each one. We're going to be working with a company called Epic Corals this term, EPIC CORALS. They're a saltwater fish tank company. So try writing a direct headline for them. So saltwater fish tanks, 30% off. Maybe an indirect headline. So you wouldn't directly, where do saltwater fish come from? And then go through each one and write a headline that you can use based on the information, based on what you've learned, and knowing that it's for a saltwater fish company. You'll use these headlines in the future, so for right now it's just practice. After you've had a chance to do that practice, go ahead and move on with the video. When you do write headlines, focus on the benefits. So our software can handle multiple core structures of data at the same time, which means during increased load time, the server will be stable. Wow, that's guaranteed to solve insomnia. Plus, most people wouldn't understand what it means, or at least not completely what it means. More importantly, they're not really sure how it benefits them. But if you rewrite it as "this is why you care," then people will connect more effectively. Even if your site gets featured on the front page of CNN and brings in 300,000 visits per hour, your site won't go down. Well, that shows me where that value is, and it's much more helpful. Another example of benefits and not features, Southwest did cancel this, by the way, but 50,000 points for signing up for our members program. That's great, but I don't know what it means to me. Is it valuable to me? Versus that's enough for 2 free round trip tickets to anywhere in the United States. Wow, now I see what that value is and what my benefit is for doing it. So it's more effective. Think back to the headlines that you wrote before you paused. Does each one of those headlines stop visitors in their tracks? Are you 100% confident of this? Is the message that you want your readers to understand clearly communicated? And is it written for someone with a 6th grade reading level? Are you making a bold statement or asking a strong question? Are you using numbers as in your headline? And if so, are they written as numerals? Hopefully your headline is less than 10 words. If it's more, you want to make sure that it doesn't lose impact. And then most importantly, make sure your punctuation and capitalization are intentional. Here's an example to make sure that you focus on the customer. In the first version, Bank Plan is looking at the feature, and it is company focused. So it's focused on Bank Plan. Bank Plan is the state-of-the-art in user-friendly, sophisticated financial software for small business accounts receivable, accounts payable, and general ledger applications. So it's like they wrote it for their own company. If they're writing for a customer, they write more friendly information. Bank Plan can help you manage your books, manage your cash flow, and keep track of customers who haven't paid their bills. Best of all, the program is easy to use. No special training is required. So it tells me at a glance that this is going to work for me, it's easy to use, and I'm going to be successful. I had no idea of any of those things from that first version. When you are writing copy, get to the point, avoid sexist or racist language, use simple words. It's okay to use one-sentence paragraphs. My academic side freaks out because it's supposed to have at least 3 sentences in a paragraph. But in marketing, a one-sentence paragraph is fine. So are conjunctions, and it's okay to end with prepositions. So an example of a headline that might work for that is 3 kinds of cats you should be afraid of. So ending with the word of. I would never do that in formal writing. Here's a list of why people buy. So as you're looking at each one of these, go back to that list of headlines you created and see which item you tie into. Did you write something that makes people have fun or are happy? Did you want to create a feeling of fear? Did you want them to feel successful or attractive? So if you haven't already, make sure that you practice your headlines, one of each, and then you'll use that with the next area of focus. Once you have your headline, you're ready to write your text, or sometimes people prefer to do it vice versa. So in this original text, we're learning about the Business Management and Entrepreneurship Program. It's kind of wordy, hard to follow, and very boring. But that's our first version. It's called a free write. You just want to get down the important information. Format isn't as critical. Once you have that in place, then you're ready to look at cleaning up the text. So your first step is to get rid of superfluous or extra words. What can you bring down that won't negatively affect the information shared, but allows you to move forward? That cut down quite a bit, but it's still too long. We want to break it up and give it some white space. So we do it this way. Instead of block text with the words that, or with the classes that you take, they're broken out with bullet points, and they draw the eye into the middle, and then you read top down, and it finishes with a link to the site. So we start with this, and we end with this. Now it's your turn. As I mentioned previously, we're going to be working with Epic Corals this term. They're a family-owned business specializing in saltwater aquariums. They're located in Twin Falls on Washington Street, or Boulevard, anyway, on Washington. This is information that I pulled from their Facebook site. Right now, it's not very friendly. What I want you to do is rewrite, keeping what you feel is valuable, and make it so that it is in a more readable, more friendly format. And then when you're finished with your information, what I want you to do is to go into the discussion on copywriting and post your design. Next week, we'll take a look and we'll vote on favorite versions. If you have questions or comments, let me know. We will be referring back to copywriting throughout the term. As a quick FYI, if you enjoy this assignment, then you'll want to make sure that copywriting and designing ad copy is part of your future career. If this is a painful assignment, then when you move up in a company, make sure that hiring a copywriter or copy editor is one of the first people that you look at. Regardless, you still need the basic skills and you need to understand the process. So I look forward to seeing what you post, and I look forward to seeing how other people view your materials. Thank you.